Hi, my name is Mike and I'm the innovator or the inventor of the 10-minute chase. The chase has been changed quite a bit from the original chase we introduced about 7 years ago, it's a lot more user-friendly for the installer, the carpenter, contractor. Also, structurally, we believe it's a better chase, and as far as insulation value, we do meet all the requirements, the ASHRAE requirements, for pretty much every place in the United States and Canada as well. The 10-minute chase is now made of structural insulated panels, more commonly known as SIPS panels. We have been working with a company locally here that has helped me develop this system, so it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. It really does go together very well, and again, like I say, installers are more used to using wood construction rather than my original chase that was actually made out of metal. So what I want to begin with here is the chase is only as strong as the structure you're assembling it to. And so with that, what I'm referring to is we've supplied and we will recommend all the proper fastening devices, screws, tools, things like that. But really there's two methods of securing our walls to an existing house structure. One of them, especially if it's pre-existing home that is all finished off on the inside, drywall, things like that, you're going to start with your chase construction by framing your fireplace like you normally would for any fireplace. So you'll get your dimensions that are proper for your fireplace opening. That's how you begin. But the next step is that our chase walls need to be secured to the house itself. There's two methods that are recommended. The first one that's recommended is what we commonly call a petition post. This petition post will run on the inside of the wall, and this is particularly doable when the inside structure is more open. So what you would do is run a petition post from the lower plate to the upper plate with the wider section here actually against the sheeting from the inside. You secure it at the top and the bottom, and this gives you a very sound structure to adhere to. What you would want to do is you'd want to position it so it would be on the center point of your wall where it's going to be fastened to the house. So that's one method, and actually the preferred stronger method. The other method is if your house is finished off and you're trying to refrain from opening up any interior walls, then the next thing to do, because you've already opened up this, you've done a fair amount of construction, peeled the siding back, whatever it might be, you would be exposed to your sheeting. What you would do in this case is go from your studded opening, the closest studs, 16-inch on center normally, and you would put 2x6 blocking. And put that 2x6 blocking about every 12 inches from the sill plate all the way up to the proposed top of your chase, depending on whether you're using just the common one wall 48-inch chase, or if you're using a multiple extension, you would want to obviously make sure that you went the full height with it, with your blocking. So those are the two methods of securing your chase. The other part of this is usually when you're starting your chase, most of the weight is going to be obviously at the base, and so you're going to be securing into the bottom, into your sill plate or your lower plate of your wall. That's going to be your primary support. We supply you with all the screws to tie into it. We're using outdoor rated T25 torque screws. They're all coated, they're rated for outside, as well as drywall screws, 1.5" drywall screws. They're also, I'm sorry, not drywall screws, Phillips head screws that are coated, again, for outdoor use, so they're not going to rust or deteriorate. So with that, I'm gonna start my basic assembly. Once you've determined your framed opening, you've got your wall blocking in, what you'll do is you always want to start from a center point of the chase right here. That's your reference point, and you'll go to the right and left for measuring out your exterior wall. So you'll go from the center point of the chase and you'll measure over 22.5 inches. And this is where you're going to install what I refer to as a cleat. This cleat is your anchoring support. You will be anchoring through your sheeting into the petition stud or blocking that have been previously installed. To make the job go a little bit easier, to keep it a one-man job until you get into the heavier lifting, we recommend some simple tips. One of these is once you've gotten your 22.5 inches to the right and left, your vertical cleats will start 6.5 inches from the floor of your fireplace, or where your floor of your chase is going to be as well. So you'll drop down 6.5 inches. Now, to make it easy for you, what we've done is we'll use just a simple 2x4 that gets tacked in place. It's level and squared is what it will be. And so we'll put it right here at the bottom. And that'll give us the ability to make sure that our both vertical plates are in alignment. And that's also going to help us later on when we want to set our sidewalls in place, especially if we're working by ourselves. So now that we have those in place, let's see here. And we'll put our vertical cleats in. And I've already marked lines on here, so I know that they're plumb and square. Also, what I've done, because our sidewalls have a bottom plate on them, I marked a line inch and a half up. That's where my cleat is going to go to fasten to this. Now, where these cleats come from are already installed in the chase wall when you get that. There'll be one screw holding these cleats in place. So all you do is remove that screw, remove the cleat, and you'll be able to affix it, or this blocking, and you'll be able to affix it right to your plate. Sometimes, because your chase might be very low, it might be easier just to use a 2x4 gauge, which is obviously an inch and a half. Just hold it right here, get that reference point. Put that in place. And that's our lower cleat. I've already installed the right-hand side cleat, as you can see. One thing that I want to strongly recommend is, again, it's only as strong as the surface that it's adhered to. Right here. So as you can see, that adequate fastening to the wall is just going to make your chase that much more secure. So along with the base cleat as well as the blocking, it's recommended that you use 2 of these 3.5 inch screws about every 6 to 8 inches all the way down the cleat as it goes into your petition poster blocking, and then you put your chase wall blocking here the same 2 inches apart every 6 to 8 inches all the way down. That'll ensure that you've got good adhesion to your existing wall. Now that I've got all that done, I've got my base blocking in, and I've got my lower ledger in, so I'm keeping everything level. And this is where you'll see that it really helps out, is putting my wall in place. As you can see, I've got the opening here. There is a little bit of a 2x4 down here. We've already accounted for that, and we've left that space at the bottom. So what I do now is I will just tip that up into place. Now my wall is pretty secure. And I'll affix this to the blocking, the cleat and the blocking, again with the 1 5/8 coated Phillips head screws. I've got this in place now. I would screw it all the way down the wall, making sure it's good and secure. As you can see, it's barely tacked in and it's pretty secure. I'll do the same thing with the opposite wall. And you'll notice on this wall I've already put the upper blocking for my shed style roof, so that's already been put in place. I will put that one in as we move along. See, that's good and secure. Now what I've done earlier is I put just this 2x2 blocking at the bottom. The only reason that is there is to help me hold the floor up as I slide it into place. That's the reason I would have that. And now again, this is more blocking that is taken out of the floor of the chase. As you can see, it's marked floor. It would come directly from here. There's one little screw that holds it in place. When you get it, you remove that screw and put it in. This board will again get screwed the same as you would intervals that you would screw your vertical boards in. You'll also do this with this one. Again, working from center, and this board will be a 1/2 inch lower than the floor of the fireplace because we're taking into the account the top of the sheeting, so when we slide the wall in place, everything will be flush right here. Now my board is in place. I'm ready to set my floor in place. Now we slide the floor in, slide it up to the board, tap it in place. And as you can see, we want a nice tight fit there. Now the floor is in place, the walls are in place. At this time, if you wanted to check for plumb and square, probably be a good idea to do that, because the truth of the installation will come when you go to put your back wall in. If things aren't plumb and square, the back wall isn't going to fit. So with that, we're going to install our floor supports. These are also supplied. These are a wide head T30 Torx. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be securing the floor to the wall. That tightens things up. We'll do 2 on each side. One towards the front and one towards the back. That in nice and tight. So now our floor sidewalls are all secured. Again, 2 in the back. When we put our back wall on, we'll put 4 screws across the back, and then we'll use again our 1 5/8 Phillips head screws into the sides, and that will pull everything together and make a nice tight fit. Now at this point, it's your option. I know a lot of installers would prefer to take the fireplace out of their van, bring it around the back side of the house, and slide it in at this point. It saves having to carry it all through the house and maybe risking some damage to the homeowner's existing appliances, furniture, things like that. So at that point, you can also, this is a great time to bring your mechanicals into the house. So if you've got a gas line you're bringing in from the collar of the house, from the basement up in, you can drill your hole, bring your gas line in, bring your electric in, and get all that set at that time. Then what you would do is then you would have your fireplace secured in place, and then you put your back wall on. And again, it's just a lot about saving a lot of time. So at this point, we're ready to put our back wall on. We're going to set the back wall in place now. And as you saw before, I put the side screws in, the 6.5-inch screws. Now, in order to make this go a little bit smoother, you can just simply back off one of these screws. That'll loosen that wall up just a little bit to enable us to slide this in and get a real nice smooth fit. If you have it too tight, you're going to have difficulty getting it in place. And lift up a little bit, Joe. Flush?
Almost, a little more. Yep, right there.
Hold it right in place.
Yep, got it.
Okay. While Joe's holding that in place, just a couple little tacks. Keep it secure. Draws it in together. Nice and even, as you can see. Okay, now that'll hold everything in place for right now. As you can see, we met up all our corners, meet pretty well. So that's a good tight fit all the way around. What I would do next is I would secure, again, about every 6 to 8 inches of these 1 5/8 screws all the way down the sides. Again, the 1 5/8 screws down these 2 2x4s on the inside and outside of the both walls. Now that we've got that, I'll remove the blocking. We already moved the blocking for our chase roof. As you can see, the blocking's been removed. And again, we'll set that in place. Nice fit again. And this is the blocking. We'll secure the blocking in for that side. Again, it'll sit right on the lower blocking that we installed previously. Again, normally I would put the screws alternating all the way down through 6 to 8 inches apart. And we'll install the other side wall. And again, we'll secure everything together. Securing again, screwing down the back wall. And I'm just tacking things together just so you get the general idea. And then also you notice where the spline came down through, comes down through about 3/4 of an inch. So definitely join all of that together all the way through on the inside and out where the spline drops in. So I'll put some more screws in here. Make it nice and secure. At this time, I would be putting 4 more of these screws in here, spaced out about a foot apart, all the way through, from the back wall right through into the floor of the chase. That pulls everything together again, so everything is nice and tight. Now this is where you're going to need a buddy. So you notice what I've done is I've already put a cleat in here. This is very helpful when you're raising this up because it prevents it from sliding down, sliding off. So it enables you to get in position to get it screwed down to the top. See, right there. Okay, everything is secure. And at this point, I would drop more screws down through here. 3 screws on each side, 1 in the middle, or 1 on each end, a foot from each end. And my chase is completely drawn together, tight. Now you can side it, sheet it, whatever you would normally do. You can counter flash the roof. Again, I didn't talk about it too much, but depending on where your vent is going to be. Now this is a chase with no extensions, okay? The next step is if you have a top vent, direct vent fireplace. Joe, I'm going to need you. I'll show you how to install the extensions real quick, just so you got an idea how that goes together. Now, you saw the basic chase together with no extensions or any of that. Now I'm going to show you how you can easily convert this to a tall chase just by simply adding our 16-inch extensions. Again, there'll be adequate blocking for this. Fits right in place. Again, your spline goes down. And then we can either put our gable end or our shed roof on. We've been showing everything today just with the shed roof, but the gable roof basically goes together the same way. I need the ladder. Is that one on, Joe? We're using the same sections we did earlier. The roof section. Now, let me tie that together. And now we just went from the standard chase, where you normally have maybe a rear vent direct vent fireplace, to the need to go with a top vent direct vent fireplace. Again, all in shed style roof. The gable end basically goes the same way as this does. You just have your peak on the end, your two roof sections, and you're good to go. That concludes our chase assembly. Thank you.